Hey guys, it's Elle. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with my November wrap up. November was another hectic month, especially just with Thanksgiving being so late. It really threw me off. But I was able to read 7 books and I love so many of these, and I'm really excited to chat about all of them and my thoughts and ratings. So the first book I read in November was Finding Hayes by Laura Pavlov. And I actually ended up DNFing this one, sadly. I did not love it. This is the newest release in her Magnolia Falls series, and I just didn't really feel chemistry between the two characters. Their supposed childhood best friends, and the heroine and hero both come back to the small town, and there was this like miscommunication between them years ago, which made them like not have a relationship, and now they have to fake date. And I just found it like kind of boring, and just that I just felt like there wasn't really chemistry between them. I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. So I decided to put the audiobook down and pick up something else, and I don't know if I'll ever pick this up again because I did get 70% through and I was just like, this is not working out for me. But I love so many other books in this series, and I'm sure that I think this might be the last book, or there might be one more book in this series, I'm not sure, but hopefully I'll like the last book more than Finding Hayes. The next book I read in November was Broken Harbor by Catherine Cowles. This is her newest release, and I was so lucky to receive an audio arc and ebook arc of this book, and I decided to listen to the book on audio because normally I just receive the ebook, but I decided to do the audio this time, and I decided to pick up the audiobook. I normally read every book that I think I've gotten every single book in this series as an arc, and I just always read them on my Kindle, but I wanted to read the audiobooks because the narrators Catherine picks are always top tier and amazing, so I knew I wanted to listen to it on audio, and it was amazing. So this one follows our heroine Sutton, who is a single mom, and she recently got out of her marriage because her ex was a ex-NFL player, and he just was going through a lot of stuff and accidentally got into a really bad crowd that actually put her and her son in danger. And she is like, I am getting out of here, out of this situation to protect me and my son. And so she decides to move to Sparrow Falls and just be on the down low. And she decides to also open up a bakery. And she is just trying to provide and do all she can to support her and her son. And that's when she meets Coop, who is the hero, and he is one of the brothers in this like big family that we follow throughout the whole series, and he is a pro NHL player, which is hockey, and he starts teaching lessons at the local hockey rink, and her son is taking some of those lessons, and that's when she meets him for the first time, and they kind of start a kinship and start hanging out more and getting to know each other. But she doesn't want to fall for someone new because she is just so scarred from her previous relationship, and she also wants to protect her son at all costs. And the hero is dealing with a lot of guilt after the passing of his father, and just feeling like it was really his fault, which obviously it wasn't. But the thing I love about this one, and I feel so different than her other books, is that they were both tortured characters. A lot of the time, it is more one is tortured and the other is the one helping them heal. But I loved in this one that they both healed together. And this one, they are not perfect. The hero is not perfect. They both make mistakes, but they own up to them and they work through their trauma together, and it is just such a beautiful story. I absolutely adored this one. It is just so good. There's caretaking in this one, healing journey. It's just so beautiful. And of course we have the suspense aspect with her past, and the hero gets very protective, and I love Coop, and I loved Coop and Sutton's romance. It was just amazing. 5 stars, so good. Then I have How to Forget a Duke by Vivian Loret. I listened to this one on audio. I knew I wanted to read a historical romance in November. I still need to read more historicals. I just sometimes get out of the vibe of historicals and just like stop reading them for a while, and then I forget about them, which is not good. But I got this rec from Jess from Peace Love Books. I was looking through her Goodreads and trying to find a historical to read, and I found this one, and this has the amnesia trope in it, and I love a good amnesia historical romance. So the heroine, she is a part of this like matchmaking agency in London, helping people in society find someone to marry, and so she is given the client of the Duke, and he is trying to find a wife, and she kind of finds out this secret information about him and his estate and like why he really needs to find a wife. And so she ends up going to visit him at his estate and ends up getting in a shipwreck and washing up on shore and doesn't remember who she is. And the hero knows that she knows this information, and so he decides to keep her at his estate so she can heal and monitor her memories while she's getting them back, and they end up falling in love in the process, and it is so good. I love this one. There's a really cute side character in this one that is just adorable, and I loved how he brought in this doctor to do these like for their stretches to help her memory. It was just hilarious, and I love how free-spirited the heroine was, and she also loves the book. I think it was a Jane Austen book. I don't think it was Emma. It was Emma by Jane Austen. And so before every chapter heading, she would do a little blurb of the book, and it was just a really solid historical, and the hero becomes very in love with the heroine and very protective over her, and I loved it. It was so good. If you want a really solid historical, I would pick this one up. The next romance I read in November was When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This is a fantasy fae romance, and it was set in a very unique world where there are these like gods and goddesses, and there's these like songs that only certain people can hear. They have certain magical powers, and the heroine has those powers. I still don't really understand the world, but it was very interesting, and I'm excited for the next book to see what happens. And I really enjoyed this one. And the heroine is a vigilante assassin type person, and she actually gets imprisoned by this bad guy that hurt someone close to her. And the king, who is the hero, he actually sees her in prison and kind of saves her from being slaughtered, and they go on this like crazy adventure going back to his kingdom. She actually ends up at one point getting taken by these like mountain people, and he has to fight for her life, and there's just so many fun things that happen in this one. It's very fast paced. There are dragons in this world, there are fae, there's this whole magical system that's really intriguing, and it is a slow burn romance, but it's a lot of fun, and I loved how fast paced it was, and just how like you were just kept on your toes throughout the whole romance. And there's definitely a twist in this one. Now, I will say this one, like I said, it is a slower romance, and it did feel kind of slow in the beginning, so that's why I'm giving it 4.5 stars instead of 5 stars. But I did really enjoy it, and I'm excited to see what the next book is going to be about and what's going to happen in that one. I'm still trying to acclimate myself to this world because it is still confusing to me, but I'm really enjoying it. Then I have Tin Queen by Devney Perry. I listened to this one on audio, and I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I've been reading the Clifton Forge series by her, and I read, I think, 3 or 2 books in October of this series. And then this is the last book, and I read this in November, obviously, and I just really love this. So the heroine is trying to enact revenge on the hero because he had something to do with her father being imprisoned and then her brother being killed, and so she is going after him and trying to seduce him to get intel, and she is a part of a rival motorcycle club, and the hero has no idea, and they kind of have this first night together, a one-night stand. It is so steamy, so good, very angsty, and they kind of keep seeing each other afterwards, and she is trying to gather information about him, and he has no idea, and he is falling for her, and she's falling for him, but then she feels guilty because she's like going against her family, and there's just so many aspects to this one. It is fantastic. Probably one of my favorite Devney Perry books ever. It is so good. It's also very spicy for her writing. I feel like sometimes Devney will sometimes do some closed door scenes and then she'll be very spicy, and this one was very spicy. And I just loved how like the heroine really struggled with, you know, this battle of like, I really am falling for the hero, but also I can't, like, because of what he did. So I just love this one, and there's lots of twists in this one as well, and it's a lot of fun. So 5 stars. Really, really love this one. Then I read Inheritance by Nora Roberts. I saw that Jess from Peace Love Books picked this one up in October or early November, and she absolutely adored it. And I've started getting into my Nora Roberts era, and I've started reading a couple of her books, and I just absolutely fell in love with this one. It is so unique. It's so interesting. So this is in a world where there is this haunted manor, and the heroine's family has been cursed by a witch for like hundreds of years, and basically every bride on their wedding day will be killed and their wedding ring is taken by this witch, and it has cursed her whole family for years. And in the present time, the heroine, she just left her job to overtake the manor because she finds out that she has this secret lost uncle that she never knew about, and that her father was actually a twin. And so she goes to the manor, and she decides to stay there to be able to keep the manor, or I think like if she wants to sell it, she has to stay there for 3 years. And so she decides to go, and she figures out that it is haunted, and there are good ghosts and bad ghosts, friendly ones, and it's very atmospheric. It is set in Maine. It is a romantic suspense, but also paranormal, and it is so much fun. I love this book. This one definitely keeps you up on your toes, and there's a hot lawyer that she falls for in town, and the romance is not very central within the series. It's more the plot of what the deal is with this curse and this witch, but it is still there. And I just loved how cozy this one felt, and she ends up having her best friend come up and stay with her, and they cook meals, and it's just so much fun. I really, really enjoyed this one. 5 stars, so, so good. And then the last book I read in November was The Mirror, also by Nora Roberts. And it's in the same series as Inheritance. This is the second book in the series, and it definitely picks up right where the last one left off. And I'm not really going to say that much about this one, but we get more of the origin story of this curse and the witch and the house, and it's really interesting. I gave this one 4 stars though, because it did feel very similar to the first book, but I'm still really excited to read the third book and see what we're going to find out, and secrets revealed, twists and turns. I'm really excited, and I've been really enjoying this series. All right, well, that is the last book I wanted to chat about in this video. I hope you enjoyed hearing me chat about all of the romances that I read in November. I am so excited for December, and I can't believe that the year is almost over, and I am definitely going to be prioritizing a lot more books in December that I really want to read. Definitely let me know down below what your favorite romance was of November. I think mine was Broken Harbor or Inheritance. I really love both of those. But I want to thank you so much, and if you made it this far, leave me a pink heart emoji, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.